mental gen?
Good morning, Zayas Kermaket here today with a review on NECA's Team Fortress 2 action figure, The Spy. Both red and blue, as usual. Here they are, standing in their little pose I always have these videos start out with and I will take a look at their weapons first, and then we'll look at some details. Okay, so to start off with the hands, Spy has his right hand, only one version of a right hand, which is his trigger finger to hold his revolver, which I have two of, an open palm hand, like this one, for holding the sapper, and a gripped hand for holding the knife. I would have pulled this out just to demonstrate, but I've decided to leave it in because Blue Spy is a little bit more fragile than Red Spy, and I'll get into that later. So the weapons that he comes with are his revolver, his butterfly knife, and probably the best one, as agreed by all, the sapper. Now, honestly, Spy is just an okay figure. Before I continue with the details, here's a little bit of a lineup of all of the removable hands from Spy, Soldier, Demo Man, and then Heavy. Look at the size difference between Spy's hand and Heavy's hand. It's kind of ridiculous, actually. Now, the Spy action figure himself, it kind of depends. You're kind of in between a rock and a hard place, judging by which figure you want to get, because if we take a look at the front art for the Spy action figure, because I got the blue one new in the box, you can see that this is what Spy is supposed to look like. And then, compared to the Blue Spy figure and the Red Spy figure. While the Blue Spy's face sculpt and painting isn't really that well done, it definitely does look closer to the actual in-game version than the Red Spy. But now that I've got those details out of the way, I'll take a look at some more details as well as some articulation. So now, a problem with Red Spy specifically, and again, this may be because I bought him used off eBay, is he has particularly good articulation, but at the same time, not so much. He of course has a single elbow joint. His hand moves a little bit, and then, if you'd like, you can make him T-pose. And the ball-jointed shoulders also twist. His head is almost literally on a swivel, so you can turn him all the way around, and it doesn't really look that right. He has some good range of movement in his thighs, and almost too good of knee movement. And then a little bit of ankle movement down here, as well as some rotation. Now, the problem with this is that even with the stand, Red Spy can be kind of difficult to stand on his own. Sure, he's standing fine right now, but let me tell you, when I was trying to record this video earlier, he just wouldn't stand up, even with the stand. Also, disclaimer about these stands, I think in the last video, I actually said that these are actually pretty good and I recommend them. Yeah, I wouldn't recommend them for certain figures such as Heavy, Soldier, and Pyro, because I left them standing up overnight on these things, and they actually snapped the pegs and broke them, which is quite honestly pathetic. Anyway, the reason I took a look at the articulation on specifically Red Spy is because on Blue Spy it is a little bit tighter, and not only that, but I unfortunately, when I bought him, well, I didn't buy him, he was actually a gift, but when I opened the package, his elbow joint broke and I had to glue it back on. We were going to try and fix him with like a paper clip, like take some tools, drill into his arms, and then stick like a paper clip in there to give him like the ultimate flexible posing stance, I suppose. Those words did not work at all. But obviously we just chose on being lazy and just glued it instead. The Spy does have a cigarette in his mouth, so we'll take a look at Red Spy's cigarette first. And as you can see, if it'll focus, it's actually pretty small. And I'm just going to lie him down, because it's kind of hard to get him to stand. And then Blue Spy, his is also pretty small, but a bit longer, and honestly it looks a little bit better on him. So both of these are, let me just look at the feet themselves instead of holding them up to the camera. So Red Spy is dated 2013, and Blue Spy, I believe, should also be dated 2013, but he might be dated something else. Nope, he is also dated, wait. Yep, 2013. But as you can see, he definitely is easier to stand than the Red Spy. Actually, interestingly enough, Mattel made a cloaked version of the Spy also around 2013. This was not made by NECA. This is a cloaked version of the Spy made by Mattel, I believe. It's pretty well made. It does stand up, and it does fit on the action figure stands pretty well, and it overall has better articulation than both the Spies combined. But yeah, it's quite interesting, really. And the beauty of this is that you can use this as either Red or Blue Spy because, well, you can't really see it. It's just a cloaked version of Spy. So I'm just going to set that off to the side. Very interesting that Mattel only made that one and not any of the other mercenaries. So, anyway, like all of the other classes, we have the back of the box with some information on the Spy, and it actually says that he speaks a few different languages other than English and French. And of course, he comes with a little class portrait card. So now, for the most part, all of the class portrait cards that you get with these guys have a code on the back. They'll give you an in-game item, and for the most part, well, all of them do that, but for the most part, they're all hats. But Red Spy gives you this bowler hat-looking hat. I forget the name of it. But then Blue Spy actually gives you the camera beard, which was mildly interesting, because I think that's the only one that doesn't give you an actual hat, because I don't think beards count as hats. So anyway, is Spy really worth it? Kind of, if you're aiming to collect all of the team members, either in both red and blue, or just half in red, half in blue, or if you just want to get a version of Spy just because. But yeah, I suppose I could look at a little bit more detail on him since I didn't really show the back of him, but his coat is made out of a soft fabric-y material, and you know, whoops. Well, there we go. You got to see it, at least. And I kind of wish that, similar to the Engineer, they had made something to where you could put his weapons in, such as, like, they kind of gave you a little bit of space in his coat to tuck his knife in, but not so much. It just looks like he got stabbed. Well, anyway, this has been a rather short review on the Spy Action Figure, but I hope you all enjoyed. Next review is going to be on Medic and then Pyro. I just realized those are literally the last technically two figures I have to review. Well, anyway, thank you for watching. I was trying to film a funny little bit for the outro, And I went to pose BLU Spy. And guess who's gonna have to get his arm glued back on again?
Not our finest moment.